Ladies, gentlemen, and dinosaurs of all eras, something very interesting has been brewing over the past few weeks and months, and it all stems from one game developer, specifically a senior gameplay animator for Sucker Punch Productions, whose most recent game was Ghost of Tsushima, one that was pretty universally beloved from all sides. And as someone who sunk a good couple hundred hours just clearing the whole map, then playing the game again on a higher difficulty, it is an extremely solid game, and one of the coolest parts of that game are the animations, especially with all the swordplay involved in the game. However, it's worth noting that this developer wasn't brought into Sucker Punch until after that game was completed and shipped, so while we can use the studio they work for and the recent game they've done as an example of the expectations of quality, we cannot directly compare what they've done to this. But honestly, there's not really a need to. I just wanted to give you some context as to their position within the gaming industry, because the game that we are here to talk about is not a AAA title. It isn't being developed by Sucker Punch, it is simply the passion project of a game animator who absolutely loves dinosaurs and swords, and I respect that entirely. This game then, for anyone wondering, is currently called Dino Blade, or at least that's a working title, because this was never originally intended to turn into a full-on game. Instead, the inspiration was simply Jean Nguyen wanting to do a cool dinosaur fight animation just because they have always loved this concept. They just started animating different types of dinosaurs with different types of swords, combos, finishers, heavy attacks, combos against other dinosaurs, even a velociraptor with a bow, and of course, they also took quite a lot of inspiration from anime too. And those with watchful eyes will see things like a Zorro raptor with three-sword dino style, Cloud with a buster sword, Chainsaw Man is a T-Rex, Spinosaurus guts from Berserk, Soul Eater, Bleach, I mean, you name it. It's just this incredibly beautiful mashing together of something that is super nerdy, yet inherently also cool in a very primal way. Dinosaurs? Cool. Swords? Cool. Combat to the death? Cool. Yet somehow put it all together into dinosaurs with swords doing anime impressions, and somehow it becomes the nerdiest thing I've ever heard. And I don't mean that in a bad way, even slightly, not even by any means, because it is one of the coolest things that I've ever seen. And when I first saw an animation of this a while back, I was amazed by how good it looked and how it just sort of felt right for something that should feel so wrong. So basically the point of this video is to bring some attention to this project. The project currently being called Dino Blade. It used to be called Dino Sword, and the name will probably change again even further in the future because it's still early on. But the concept is what truly matters here, and people seem to be just as enamored as I am with this in general, with each consecutive animation update getting more and more attention, and I think it says something that we all already knew. Humans want one thing, and it is dinosaurs wielding swords and entering mortal combat with each other with anime animations. The meteor didn't take out the dinosaurs, they took out each other with swords. Brutally. It's hard to explain exactly what makes this so interesting, because if you're into it, you're into it, and if you're not, you're not. Because in theory, it just is a bit nonsensical, right? Even if we accept the possibility that dinosaurs could adjust to use tools like a sword or even a bow somehow, any dinosaur with this kind of combat skill would probably fare better, well, you know, without a sword in its mouth. Dinosaurs and swords aren't really designed to work together functionally speaking, and yet when you see a sick animation of a dinosaur doing a full combo, lodging its sword in the ground, doing a flip and then pulling it out, it makes your heart start pumping with desire, with want to be. From what I can tell, this animator has been working on these little animated clips for quite a while now, and with the decision to turn it into a proper project and actually develop it into a game only happening within the last few weeks in response to the attention, and more specifically all the love that the animations themselves have gotten. And it's at a stage now where there is even some boss animating being done, and while we don't get much of it at all, it is definitely an enticing little preview of the concept. So then, what can we expect when it comes to this game? And why are we talking about it? Well, we're talking about it because it's extremely cool and I want you all to see it. Especially considering what our channel is about here, the overlap of dinosaurs and swords and anime seems pretty damn fitting, and I figure most people that enjoy our videos would probably at least enjoy checking out these animations and just seeing them. So I wanted to share it with you all. But aside from that, more eyes on this project could mean important things for it in the future. And if you want something like this to succeed, the more people that are invested in it, the better. As for what it means then, at least in this current stage, I wouldn't expect anything overly crazy from this. It's not going to be a full AAA game. It won't be an open world extravaganza or have a 50-hour story. It's looking more to just be a world where you can fight in with dinosaurs against other dinosaurs with swords. Maybe there'll be a boss or two along the way, and obviously we are quite far from the point of the game actually existing in player hands by any means, but the fact that the developer has decided to actually stick with it is really cool. Hell, even if it winds up being the tiniest possible reality, just a nice little sandbox game where you choose your own dinosaur, spawn an opponent in front of you purposefully, then you fight them, and that's the whole thing. That would still be incredibly fun to play if the animations are up to par with what we've seen up to this point, because of course, that is the main thing. As ridiculous as the concept of dinosaurs with swords is, it is easy for the human brain to overcome that if you make the animations look smooth, which this person has. If you make the dinosaurs move in fantastical ways that already break our perceptions of how a dinosaur should move, you can still totally make it work. And when you have it look as simply goddamn badass as it does here, it becomes very hard to argue with it. And that's the thing right there. No matter what this game turns out to be, whether it be a limited small tech demo, or if it somehow gets picked up in a manner that gets multiple devs in and becomes a full-fledged sprawling dino experience, I will absolutely play it, without a doubt. I know a lot of people feel the same way, just because it's not exactly a well-trodden path, and it seems to be done very well here. I can name the amount of games with dinosaurs using swords on 2 fingers. One of them is this. The other one is a modded version of the Google Chrome dinosaur game that plays when you lose internet. Look, I don't question your hobbies, don't question mine. The point is, it's an incredibly unique concept that is being done by someone who clearly knows what they're doing. And of course, I'd be remiss not to mention that on this channel, our heart, the thing that we enjoy the most in our main home, so to say, is Monster Hunter. You know, a series about hunting giant monsters, often that have prehistoric influence, using oversized weapons against them, overly flashy attacks, and, well, you can sort of boil down both concepts of these 2 different games to the same few words, even though they do it very differently. Dinosaurs, big swords, and anime levels of fighting flashiness. I've seen some people even bring up the concept of turf wars in Monster Hunter, and how they are sort of these set animations that play out between 2 monsters, but they could imagine if someone chose to bring in this kind of ingenuity, the type of brain that it takes to make these animations of the dinosaurs fighting each other with swords. This person has created a ridiculous amount of different animations, different dinosaurs with different weapons doing different attacks and combos, and it just makes me think, hey, what if Monster Hunter Turf Wars borrowed some of the concepts here? Not the monsters having swords, but the idea of these interactive, separated animations that are flashy as all hell, because while one of the main pillars of Monster Hunter is realism, the other one is the rule of cool, where you choose not to question things because they are cool enough that you don't even want to. So why couldn't we have turf wars that are more akin to actual combat between monsters, where it takes some level of context into account? A monster that has been beat up by players for half a hunt timer, for example, should probably be weaker than it would be at full health, which will equalize some of the power difference against a weaker monster if there's a turf war. Maybe sometimes as a result of that, there's just different animations that plays. The idea being, there's lots of ways for even Monster Hunter's own combat animations to evolve in various ways, and I can't help but think that it could absolutely take some inspiration from this to make it better. But all in all, as much as there's no way for me to avoid referencing Monster Hunter in this, that's not what this video is about. It's about this developer and what they've accomplished and what they are looking to create, how absolutely incredible it actually looks, and the fact that tons of people are actually getting invested in this concept already. It's crazy that no one has really taken a proper stab at giving dinosaur swords and letting them go to town on each other in a video game, but now that I've seen these animations, I can't get them out of my head, and I hope this one day does turn into something that we can all actually get in our own hands and play for ourselves. And I couldn't help but share it with you all as more and more animations get released, and my hype is just continually growing. Let us know what you think about this in the comments down below then, and if you want us to keep you updated on the progress of this game as it gets developed. Like if you like the video, subscribe to the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.